Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. PNP calls for resignation of Prime Minister. Truck overturns on bus carrying school children in St. Elizabeth. And later in sports, stadium lights again in the spotlight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kerry Simpson. Here are the details. We begin with news that the opposition People's National Party is calling for the resignation of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. This following the Integrity Commission's report on Mr. Holness's statutory declarations. The document was tabled in Parliament yesterday. O'Shane Masters reports.
In a release this morning, the PNP says it's appalled by the revelations outlined in the Integrity Commission's investigative report into Prime Minister Andrew Holness's financial affairs. It says it's currently reviewing the full report with its legal team and officers to ensure that they fully understand the implications of the investigation. However, the PNP says based on its initial review, the Prime Minister has deliberately misled the country and Parliament. The release further pointed out that the recommendation that various opaque and questionable financial transactions involving Mr. Holness and his private companies be referred to the Financial Investigations Division, FID, for further investigation suggests that the matter is far from over. It also raised questions of the serious tax irregularities on the part of Mr. Holness's companies and recommends that these issues be referred to the Commissioner General of Tax Administration, Jamaica. Now this, the PNP says, further compounds the untenable situation that faces the Prime Minister. The PNP says that Jamaica now finds itself in an unprecedented situation where its head of government is embroiled in a prolonged and unresolved integrity investigation. It says this battle being waged from the highest office in the land is undermining the country's democratic system and eroding public confidence in the government. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
The Area 1 Police says it has made significant progress in recent weeks capturing wanted men in Trelawney, St. James, Hanover and Westmoreland. Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police Wayne Joseph says recent arrests made included men wanted by the St. James Police.
Among them we have Joseph Mackenzie, who is also known as Jail, who was arrested in St. James on August 25, 2024. And he has since been charged with 3 murders, 1 shooting, and possession of a prohibited weapon. Similarly, we have Michael Williams, otherwise called Dry Goods, who was apprehended in Bogue in St. James on September 24, and is also facing murder charges. The police continue their efforts to combat violent crime in Area 1, targeting individuals involved in serious offenses.
He is warning persons against harboring these individuals in their premises as it's a criminal offense.
I also want to encourage the persons who are wanted to hand themselves into the police. And if the police comes to arrest you, do not resist. Do not challenge the police, because if you challenge the police, we cannot guarantee your safety. The JCF encourages anyone with information on criminal activities to come forward and assist the police in these investigations. I want to also take this opportunity to commend the police officers, men and women in Area 1, especially members of the Criminal Investigation Branch.
We go now to St. Elizabeth, where TVJ News understands that at least 3 children have been rushed to hospital after a truck reportedly overturned on top of the bus they were traveling into school this morning.
One get a broken, one get a forward leak, and one get a piece of splinter in the last.
The incident happened about 7:30 in Top Hill and reportedly involved a tractor and truck which were doing work to install Jamaica Public Service light posts in the area. The crash has caused power outage between Southfield and Junction. 2 men who were driving behind the truck explained what happened.
Get out of control. Either you lose a brake or something, but when they come down, you just like run. You never go up on 2-wheel down here, so come down. Then the truck go over there, so the tractor drop off first, then the truck flip over the tractor, go up in the ear or something. Yeah. Yeah, but I never know my brother was leaking.
Swing it from a couple car up there, so. And by the time you come here, so, it's like the tractor draw it on both sides. Right. So till you just flip. Take down light wire them.
The condition of the truck driver is not known at this time, but we'll have more details on this story in primetime news at 7. The principal of a St. James-based high school is stressing the importance of parental support in helping to curb bad behavior among students. As you'll hear from Krista Campbell, the school has implemented several measures to reduce violent incidents among students.
Spot Valley High School in St. James has come a far way from the reported violent incidents perpetrated by students against teachers in the past year. In November 2023, a 9th grade student repeatedly slapped her female teacher in the face after being reprimanded, and a day later, the tire of another teacher's vehicle was slashed. After several interventions, less than a year later, the school is reporting a drastic improvement in students' behavior.
So one of the programs that I know Spot Valley has put in place since then is a cognitive behavioral therapy for individual students who have been identified by various means or reports coming into the Dean of Discipline. And they go through 18 sessions of cognitive behavioral therapy. And persons are saying, when I say person, I'm talking teachers, parents are saying that they have seen, as a result of this, improved changes on their part on how they react to situations that will drive them to violent outbursts.
So much so, Acting Principal Jessica Davidson says members of the public have been noticing and commending the school administration. She explains that getting parents involved the moment there's an issue with a student has been very critical in the student behavior transformation the school is now seeing.
I just had a meeting Wednesday where let's look at the system of bleaching, which is rampant in some respects, where we had discussions with the parents and to say, you need to meet us halfway. And the parents were very much receptive. You have initiatives where you have students and parents having cook-offs together. So the thing is, we're calling in parents, we're interacting with parents, and we are bridging that gap that tends to exist between the understanding, sometimes that generational gap between parent and child.
She says increased police patrols have been very helpful in monitoring students in public spaces to prevent or limit loitering, and the school resource officer at Spot Valley High has a good rapport with students. She adds that consideration is now being given to starting a police youth club at the school. Meanwhile, for all the improvements with student behavior, the acting principal notes the many challenges that sometimes impact students' attitude.
Some of these things would be aligned to those of an adult, but they're rising above with parents and without parents sometimes. But you'll find that they are rising above and say, Miss, I was late because I went to bed very late this morning, and this is why I had to get up. And they are making their way out to school just the same.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
With the recent upsurge in violent crimes in Manchester, a local church in one affected community has responded by launching a scholarship foundation. Shamila Pullen reports.
Earlier this year, the Broadleaf community, along with several others in the parish, faced increased police presence and curfews due to a rise in crime. Concerned church members decided to take action, establishing a scholarship program to provide opportunities for young people in the area.
I make this declaration that the Lucille Pennant Scholarship Foundation will impact lives, will impact many lives, that will go on to influence other lives for the good, for the betterment of this community, for the advancement of this country. And hence I declare this foundation.
Sakisa Bailey, a student from the community, is the first recipient of the scholarship. She will pursue a bachelor's degree in theology at the Bethel Bible College of the Caribbean. The scholarship is valued at over 250,000 Jamaican dollars.
And the full scholarship that she's receiving is a full scholarship for 1 year to Bethel Bible College, which covers tuition and boarding for $275,000. And in the following year, and the committee, we will see what we'll do from there, but we definitely will see her through college.
Member of Parliament for Manchester Central, Rhoda Moy Crawford, who was in attendance, reiterated the critical role education plays in community development.
And to date, I've invested $27 million have so far been spent in helping with tuition for those at the tertiary level, tuition for those at the secondary level, paying for textbooks, helping with refurbishing schools, etc., bags and all sorts of things. Because I know, had it not been for education and God, I wouldn't be where I am.
Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us, more local stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. A retired member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force is seeking the public's help this afternoon. For the past 6 years, Devon Taylor has been diagnosed with multiple myeloma. He says his medical expenses are high and has left him financially embarrassed.
The medication has gone through the roof. So I'm at home and I am expected to be discharged at any time.
Mr. Taylor, who lives in St. Elizabeth, says he would like to build a home and is seeking financial assistance.
I have a piece of land already, and I would be very much grateful if I can get some financial assistance from Jamaicans and anybody who can assist.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
Epley Limited, a leading Caribbean investment company, has acquired 18.7% of Epley Caribbean Property Fund Limited SEC Value Fund. These share purchases were conducted on the Jamaica Stock Exchange and the Barbados Stock Exchange on September 13 by Epley Fund Managers Limited. Epley Caribbean Property Fund is the largest listed real estate mutual fund in the Caribbean, owning 39 properties comprising 1.2 million square feet across Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, and St. Vincent. Epley already manages and controls Epley Caribbean Property Fund through its subsidiary Epley Fund Managers by owning 100% of its common shares. However, following the share purchases, Epley will also become the largest shareholder of Epley Caribbean Property Fund listed shares. Further afield, Google won its challenge against a €1.49 billion fine from the EU for blocking rival online search advertisers. The bloc accused Google of abusing its market dominance by restricting third-party rivals from displaying search ads between 2006 and 2016. Europe's second top court ruled the European Commission, which levied the fine, committed errors in its assessment. The Commission said it would reflect on possible next steps, which could include an appeal to the EU's top court. For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's health report.
In this evening's health report, we look at rheumatoid arthritis.
Traditional medication suppresses the immune system, so they're more likely to get infections. And so if you see them advertising these rheumatology medication on TV, they tell you that if you have had tuberculosis or hepatitis, etc., you should be careful about taking them. So what I do is to have healing, and then the body settles down.
That's the health report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Quit smoking. Avoid processed foods, sugar, and saturated fats. Practice stress-reducing techniques. Stay hydrated and exercise.
Time now for the top
fulfill his sexual desires. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Raquel Porto.
Thanks, Raquel. We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.